So if you're looking forward to the Switch 2, like I think many of us are, you're probably thinking, well, we're not going to see any games get released for the current Switch past next year if the Switch 2 comes out. However, if that's the case, you would be mistaken. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So there was a new Professor Layton game announced earlier this year called Professor Layton and the New World of Steam. Now originally this game was expected to come out in 2024, but today at Level 5's presentation we find out that it gets delayed until 2025. Now let's take a look at the official announcement here over on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Professor Layton and the New World of Steam is scheduled to release in 2025. The latest trailer gives footage that Professor Layton and Luke are trying to solve a puzzle. And then they have a link to the full video that we have playing here in the background. So obviously the big question here is, if we're going to get a Switch 2 in 2024, why would they still release the game for the original Switch in 2025? Well, I don't think this is actually as absurd as it first sounds. If we go back to an interview in October with Nintendo President Furukawa by Nikkei, which is a financial newspaper, he said that they would continue to support the current Switch through the next fiscal year, which would end in March 2025. You can see a translation of that interview here by VGC. We are still working on software for the Switch for the fiscal year ending in March 31st, 2025. So we could see Professor Layton and the New World of Steam come out before March of 2025, and that still fall in line here with what Furukawa said. However, I don't think it would be unprecedented for it to drop back into later 2025 and come out in the fiscal year of 2026. Let's say the Switch 2 does support backward compatibility. We could see what we've been seeing with the current generation of the PlayStation and Xbox systems. We're now about 3 years after the release of the PS5 and the Xbox Series systems, and we're still getting PS4 and Xbox One versions of games. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we could see a Switch and a Switch 2 version of games going forward. I know in Nintendo's past we've seen games like, say, Breath of the Wild get released on both the Wii U and the Switch, but a lot of times that generally happens when a new console is released, and I'm sure there are some exceptions to this, but it would seem a little bit odd for a game to get released on the current and previous generation about 6 months or so after the new hardware is released. But I think some of this is being brought out by having backward compatibility in your system and developers not having to worry about getting a game ready for the next new hardware. It's almost like we're starting to kind of get past the generation idea of releasing games. But let me know your thoughts below. Do you think we're starting to move past generations when it comes to releasing games? Especially when you can release a game that will work on the older hardware as well as the newer hardware without much effort, and you've got a lot larger install base to sell to. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. It really does help the channel out quite a bit. I want to thank you for watching, and be good.